Hi everybody, this is Flo. Welcome to another episode of the KMS Quick Shots. Today I'm joined by Argentinian multi-instrumentalist Federico Carpi, better known under his project name Huxley Sun. Federico, hi there, nice to meet you.
Hello, nice meeting you. Nice meeting you.
So let's dive right into the subject. You just released the extended play, which surprisingly is an EP.
Yeah.
tell us about the project or the process that leads to the EP.
Well, for the past 2 years, I think, I've been releasing music as singles, and eventually I was thinking about doing something that had a bit more of body, let's say, to something that it was not just a song, but actually something that connects a few songs and something that has some sort of meaning. And I thought about, well, before having a full album, to have a go at an EP, which is simply called extended play because it doesn't have really a name. I didn't want to put it a name because I thought that, yes.
Isn't there a main theme, like a topic you're telling a story about with the music?
Not really in the sense of having a concrete meaning, like I don't know, like some albums talk about depression or whatever that they talk sometimes about, or like, you know, kind of like a Pink Floyd kind of idea or anything like that, but rather a fusion, if you want, of styles. As you can see, I think that the EP starts with a sort of bluesy kind of music that morphs into something more ethereal, if you want, and layered. I wanted to have that sort of flow, and I suppose that I managed to achieve some of that. That's not really for me to decide, but I'm quite satisfied with the result.
We're getting a bit deeper into the topic at hand as we move forward. So there are soft textures to find in there. There are also a lot of elements and styles used in there. You're blending and merging things as you create them. Would you say, is this coincidental or is this a method of your signature style?
It's quite complicated to say whether that's a sort of a signature that I have, because I don't have enough material even for me to realize sometimes what sort of music I'm making. I would say that I'm very interested in when it comes to layering, when it comes to having different kind of like a counterpoint melodies that create new harmonies. I think that the best example on the EP will be the song called Clouds, that it's just 3 guitars that are layering, they're creating new harmonies based on the layer of the melodies that they have. But of course, then later you have a solo that comes in midway, and there's other elements that complement that, let's say, the song, so it's not boring. But that's mainly that's what I wanted to achieve with most of those songs. Maybe not the first 2, which are kind of light, if you could say that, you know, they're not really that deep into music theory or anything. They're kind of like easy listening songs. But the other ones were the ones that actually took me more time actually to make, because they have a lot of details that tend to be problematic when you're recording and when you're trying to figure out even how they should go.
So I recognized that you start with those dreamy atmospheres, soft patterns, reminding me a bit of Mike Oldfield in the first up to 3 songs of the EP. But then all of a sudden, there's a shift happening between going from guitar to piano. So that being said, when creating songs, what makes you choose a specific instrument?
Well, it really depends on location and availabilities that I have. Most likely, if I want to set, this is about me being lazy actually, because if I want to set everything for me to be able to record with the piano, it's a problem. A guitar is simpler. It's not as easy to record in terms of quality, to reach certain qualities. It's complicated to have a good recording with the guitar, but it's way more complicated with the piano. So normally I start with guitars. That's the way it's the easiest way for me to figure out something. Then later, if I think that a piano would be better for something that I just played or I recorded, then I just try it out. The change there in the EP, it's just simply out of necessity, because I couldn't do the things that I do with the piano with the guitar. They just simply don't sound that well. So that's perhaps the break in midway.
So it wasn't supposed to be another chapter in storytelling as much as it was because you had several guitar tracks and several piano tracks, and you did arrange them on the EP.
Yeah, sometimes somehow they connect. I try to put it as when I order the EP, I try to put it the best way possible. I think that's why the last song with guitars, let's say, is a heavy layered one that corresponds to what comes later with piano, right? And actually, the last three songs, it's a sort of a medley because they're all intertwined. So you can have them as a one go, as a full song, let's say.
Were they all created in one time frame, or are some of them quite newer than the other ones?
You mean the entire songs, all the 6 songs, or just the piano ones?
No, all of the songs.
All of them. No, there are a couple that were like a couple of years ago, and the newest is the third one, Clouds. That one I did it on the spot because I needed to have something to connect everything, and I had a different song for that place, but it didn't work. But yeah, I had, like, for example, there's one called Once a Few Times. That one's an old one that I had. Then there's a piano one called How Do You Ing? That's an old one that I had. And then the other ones are relatively new, let's say from this year or a couple of months ago.
So going way back to the beginnings now, when did you start with music?
Oh, I was like 9, I think, or like 10, something like that. I wanted to play guitar when I was a kid because I was a Queen fan, and
next rock star line.
Yeah, I really wanted to play guitar, but then I was really bad at it. So then I switched to piano, and I had my little piano moment that lasted like a decade or something. And yeah, I went to universities and as what you would say as a pianist. And then after that, I started with this, and well, it took me quite a while from the moment I started to the moment I put out one song, but it was just it was a long process of learning to do many things at the same time. So
you're classically trained in those instruments?
On piano, right?
Okay, and the guitar thing you trained by yourself?
Yeah, I just play what I have to. Basically, when I need to play something, I just have to learn it. And but yeah, I mean, I don't think I have a technique, but I have. I'm skilled enough to figure some things by myself, so I can rely on the guitar.
So you do basically all the writing, all the performing, the recording, the mixing, I guess, all by yourself?
Yeah, I had to, yeah.
Self-taught?
Yeah, that's quite yeah, besides piano playing, yes.
From creating songs to the whole techie stuff that lies behind the song, so to speak. Would you say this comes as a natural thing to you, or was it a hard work and hard learning process for you?
Oh no, it was extremely complicated because I didn't know how to use a program, a software, you know, like a DOW or some things like that. I didn't even know what it was, a VST or anything. So I really had to learn from zero. It took me quite some time, but you know, like
was this a financial decision because you couldn't afford going into a studio every other week, or why did you choose
no,
to?
I wanted to do it myself. It was a good challenge, I think. No, it wasn't like that. I have a friend that actually helped me a lot, who's a sound engineer. So I always had someone to ask for help when I needed. And he actually was the first couple of songs was helping me with the production. So I didn't do it by myself fully. But then, yeah.
Was there a point where you created songs and you arranged them, but until a certain point you did it all by yourself and you were not planning on releasing them? So what made you finally take that final step to release them? And
I think that I had to. I kind of like was forced to, because
by whom?
if it was for me, because you know, I could have had like 150 and keep them all to myself, but I had to put something out in order to start something, right? Start something moving. And I decided for a couple, and I just went through and finished them, and you know, released them as soon as I could.
So with the extended play now out there for the world to hear, what's next in line for 2022?
Well, I have enough material to do another one. I just need to sort out a couple of things, because I would like to make it a bit more plastic. In I don't know, I'm not explaining. So like the sound, I wanted the sound to be a bit more let's say related to kind of programming, and maybe with drum programming and drum patterns that are kind of like not real drums, but actually electric drums. And I want to play a bit more around with guitars that are a bit distorted, and pianos that might be not so natural sounding.
So you have not finished your journey through all the different elements you use, as it sounds. So you're still exploring ways to redefine your music. Is that correct?
Yeah, because I think I could go to someone and say what kind of sound I want, and perhaps they will figure it out faster than me. But I'm still, even with this album, I was trying a couple of things that were not working, but I knew how I wanted them to sound, but I couldn't make them sound like that. It's not from a technical aspect, but it's rather more from a musical, musically structured. They were not the way I wanted, or you know, like for example, harmonically, they were not right there where I want them to be. And I'm thinking that with this next one, I might be able to solve those problems. That said, it doesn't mean that because it's going to be like rather electric, if you want, or rather, I don't know how to put it, like not folky, let's say, or rather alternative, if you want. It doesn't mean that I will do something completely different. I think it will have some of what I've been doing so far plus something else.
Yeah, I guess you will keep doing what you did with the last tracks. You keep keeping them from mainstream genres. So it's always like,
right,
what genre does this track fit in? And you're like, it's 60% folk, 20% classical, and the other thing is Huxley genre.
Yeah, something like that.
So have you ever played?
Yes. it's quite complicated to figure out what kind of genre I'm making, because I don't really know, to be honest. If I say that it's folk, somebody says no, it's not. If I say that it's alternative, somebody goes, no, that's not. So I don't really know.
But that's where the things really get interesting, because we already have those mainstream genres. So we need something that's not heard before, and that's where it gets really interesting. So
yeah, I guess, yes, that's true.
Did you play in a band before?
No, I never had. I mean, like not a band that was fully formed, right? Like I did play, but not seriously play, let's say.
Or did you do any live acts before?
Yeah. Also with not with this project, but with I help other people, and also from when I was, like, let's say, classically trained. Yeah, I made also concerts as well. So I'm kind of used to this idea that everything should go perfect in concerts, because that's the way you're trained, unfortunately. So it's a very stressful situation always for me.
That's why I was asking this, because from what you are telling me, I think one of the main components of you creating music by yourself is the controlled aspect. So if you got an idea in your head and you want this a specific way, and if you could tell somebody, here, sit on the drums and play me that pattern, and it would still not be what you wanted it to be in the first place. So I guess it's a stressful environment for you to really perform on stage when anything, literally everything can go wrong.
Yeah. Well, I suppose that, but I do a difference. I do have a difference between, or think of a difference between, playing live and recording, right? Because once the recording is done, and once the, let's say, the original one is done, then what happens in a concert doesn't really matter that much anymore. I would rather prefer to have a good time rather than trying to figure out precisely what to do and when. But still, my inner self is always telling me that I should be doing things, like without no mistakes and things like that. And that's like really awful.
Yeah. So with the new tracks you mentioned before, can we expect some new releases this year, or will this take a whole?
Yes.
Okay. Is there? But there isn't any specific date set yet.
Not yet. I'm finishing them up now. So I don't know, like in a couple of months maybe.
Make sure
I don't really know.
Keep us posted.
Yeah, I don't really know, because there's a couple of ways of, because right now things don't work like before, when you had physical albums and stuff like that. So now you have to be making some sort of digital release where you can be releasing songs individually to later make them a full album, and so on and so on. So there's different ways of doing it, especially from a marketing perspective and a commercial success, let's say.
But once again, if you're doing this yourself, it's a huge time-consuming beast to actually put your music out there yourself.
Yeah. I mean, well, I need to make the music, then the distributors will put it, but then I'm into the marketing part of it and everything. So yeah, it's time-consuming, but it's nice. It doesn't bother me doing all this thing. So,
all right, last question. The moniker Huxley Sun, where does this come from?
Yeah. All right. So when I started, I thought that the name was going to be Huxley only, but then I realized that there's a lot of Huxley, so I just didn't want to be confused by many, and especially with platforms, because they don't really know precisely to whom these certain songs should go, so they confuse artists sometimes, many times. Even very known artists get confused, and someone comes with the same name and they land in. So I wanted to change before it came, before having that problem, and I added Sun, which is an idea that I was asked before in a different interview, and I said that I couldn't say yet because I wanted first to achieve the idea behind it, and then tell it so I don't jinx it. So, but I will let you know. I will let you know once I do it. It has a very interesting meaning, but you know, hopefully I'll be successful with it.
But it's smart thinking to change it before you get traction and you go out there with your music and being successful, and then all of a sudden there's still this mix-up, and then that's where it gets really complicated to separate those tracks and those artists.
Yes, it's a mess. Yes, it's not a nice. Yeah. It's not a nice. Because also it's not only that, but you're stealing streams from other people sometimes. So it's not, you know, in some cases a lot of money. So.
And like you said, if somebody listens to your music and he knows, oh, that's Huxley, and he types in Huxley in, I don't know, Spotify or any streaming platform, and gets 100 Huxleys, so he doesn't know where to click if he doesn't know your specific picture or something like this.
Yeah. Mine is just the only one that exists. So far, nobody came up with the same name.
All right, Federico, thank you very much for meeting me tonight. That's it for the day. Guys, if you want to know more about Huxley Sun and his projects, make sure to check out the links in the description of the video. That's it for today. All I have to say is be safe until next time. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.